Welcome back to the Sales Factory. I'm your host, Coach Carroll, and this is episode 2, season 4, State of the Union. And yes, I did make these intro and outro sounds straight out of GarageBand, so I hope you enjoy them. I'm super excited. Season 4, man, I'm telling you, the production value, it's so much better. I hope it's crispy in your ears like a Dorito chip. Let's hop right into this. I pulled up this article from Forbes because I'm sitting over here, I'm thinking to myself, I got to give the State of the Union. And, you know, most of the people listening to this, they're entrepreneurs, some salespeople out there. But if you're a salesperson, you should be thinking like an entrepreneur because you're actually, there's a term for you now. It's called intrapreneur. Intrapreneur. That was a new one I just learned not too long ago. So I looked at this Forbes article and I said, hey, you know, what's the top things worrying small business owners right now? Because, you know, it's been 2 years since I recorded a podcast. We went through a pandemic, a plandemic, however you want to look at it. I don't really care because one of the problems I think we have right now in this world is that too many people are attaching their identity to their thoughts and their beliefs and their ideas. And so the challenge that I would impress upon you is to look at a person for who they are, not for what they think. And it is certainly okay that we live in a world together where we can have different ideas and still get along and still all make some damn money, man. So I looked at this Forbes article. I said, hey, Google, tell me, what's the top things worrying small business owners right now? And they said, what's your biggest worry as a business right now? Well, Forbes says that 35% of respondents says inflation is their number one concern. And I don't know why anybody's surprised about this anymore. Like, you can't print trillions of dollars. You can't set aside trillions of dollars for expenses and think that we're not going to have inflation. This is basic econ 101. Your boy Coach Carroll dropped out of college 3 semesters in, but I still took my econ class my second semester, and I understood the difference between inflation and printing money and how all this works, and also the understanding of supply and demand. You're going to have inflation. It's not just the money that we printed. It's all the money that we injected into the people, right? All the checks that we gave out. And I don't care if it's PPP loans or if it's the freedom dividends or whatever you want to call those, the mailbox money that you got. When you're not an investor, you shouldn't be getting mailbox money if you're not invested. But here we are. And those people, they went out and spent the money. And then on top of that, you take number 3 here on this list, which is product shortages. 8% of respondents said their top concern is product shortages. So now you've got product shortages with increased income. So let me give you guys a 101 econ class here. When supply is down and demand is up, price goes up. When supply is up and demand goes down, prices go down. And so what happens here is, like, you can quickly see, well, when we have less things to sell but more demand than we've ever had, prices are going to go up, which then is offset by the inflation. 10% of people said taxes. Listen, there's nothing you can do about taxes. If they go up, all you can do is make sure you got you a good CPA and try to legally, let me reinforce this, legally pay as little as possible. I had a mentor tell me one time, he said, DJ, tax evasion is illegal, tax avoidance is good business. And so if you're not taking advantage of 179 deductions, or if you're not taking advantage of some of the opportunities that are afforded to you as a business owner, go check out the YouTube channel. Coach Carroll, just go to YouTube, hashtag Coach Carroll. I've got several videos on there talking about that, but you got to get you a good CPA, man. Lastly here, number 4 on the list, top concerns of business owners is their ability to hire staff. So 5% of people, 5% of respondents said their ability to hire staff, and I don't think that's any surprise. If you're in the blue-collar industry in any sort of fashion, tree trimming, plumbing, electrical, doesn't matter. You're able right now to charge more than you probably ever charged before in your life. But the challenge is you can't find nobody to do the work, man. And that's just the world we're living in right now. You've got a tight labor market. You think you've got, I was watching CNBC this morning, and Kramer was like, we need the people to get off the sidelines. I don't think there's a lot of people on the sidelines. I think that there's just so much demand that if you want a job, it's there. And there's also enough infrastructure now for government programs and for government benefits that if you don't want to be in the workforce, you don't have to. And that's a scary place to be, in my opinion. Like I think that's dangerous when we have a country that is no longer promoting moving up the ladder. We're no longer promoting people improve their life. We're no longer promoting people, go out and do better. Look, like here's the American dream for you, okay? The American dream says it doesn't matter where you're born at on the ladder of success, you can climb higher. Okay, I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. It doesn't matter where you're born at on the ladder of success, you can climb higher. Can I get an amen on that one? Listen, guys, I'm really worried about this. I mean, this is the State of the Union, right? I got to tell you, our business is solid. We grew through the pandemic. Both Carroll Media, which is my advertising technology company, and Easy Pro, which is my power washing and window cleaning business. Yes, I've got one business that is completely robots, and I've got one business that robots will never be able to do. We grew, double-digit growth through the pandemic. We took advantage of the PPP loans. They were very, very helpful to help keep the team members on board and to help keep us pushing forward. But that money's ran out, and I've got a feeling that early part of 2023, we are going to see some sort of a recession. Now, you probably have heard in the news, they keep talking about this soft landing. What's that mean? What that means is that they are trying to raise the interest rates to slow down the economy. When we have inflation, it means that our GDP, right, we're growing too fast. The economy is growing too fast. And shout out to Mr. Snyder. He was my community college econ professor. He was actually a brigadier general he was a retired brigadier general from the Air Force. Dude was cool as hell. He actually wore like a little top hat with a little feather in his cap, and he flew. He was a test pilot for one of the first planes that went Mach 1. So they went over the speed of sound. And I asked him one day, I said, Mr. Snyder, trust me, guys, I'm going somewhere with this. Follow me. I said, Mr. Snyder, what was the coolest thing about flying a plane that goes the speed of sound? What was that like, man? Like, how cool was that? How amazing was that? And he said, DJ, I want you to think of the hottest woman you can think of. I was like, okay. He said, and now think that you're having sex with her. He's like, it was better than that. So, I mean, this guy was like 80 years old. He's cool as shit. And so he taught me this, and this is where I was going with this. He taught me that what we need to shoot for as an economy is 3% unemployment, 3% inflation. And that will keep everything balanced. And so that's where, we're trying to get to. The problem is the Federal Reserve, and if you guys don't know what the Federal Reserve is, I won't go into in depth in this podcast because I don't want the Illuminati coming for me. But the Federal Reserve, you can go read about that. You can read about how they control the money. They operate outside of the government. They don't get audited. They don't answer to anyone. So when you see that Jerome Powell guy come up and talk about things, like he operates separate from the government. Now, something else that's kind of crazy is our Secretary of Treasury. I'm going to look this up real quick because her name's escaping me right now. Janet Yellen. Janet Yellen was actually, and this is how kind of fucked up the whole situation we're in right now is, Janet Yellen is the Secretary of Treasury. She used to be the head of the Fed. So, Biden is the president. He used to be the VP. If you all think Obama ain't up there pulling some shit, and running some meetings, you guys are crazy, okay? And I don't want to get too far off in the political realm, but I mean, it is what it is. And if I offend you, I apologize. Not really. I don't care. I hope you keep listening because there's a lot of good information in this season for you to learn. But I just want you to understand where we are at right now as a country. You've got China and Russia having meetings together, acting like they're allies. We're fighting a war in Ukraine. We're fighting for we're not. They say, we don't have boots on the ground. Well, that's about the only thing we're not doing. We've sent them. Let's see. I actually like doing this because having my laptop here, Ukraine expense. Let's see what this says here. Because it was military aid is what, let's see, how much is Ukraine spending, military budget? That's not it. Let's do Ukraine military spending, U.S. assistance. That might give us a number here. Yeah, here it is. Whoa. Since January 2021, the United States has committed more than $13.5 billion in security assistance to Ukraine. The equipment the United States provides has changed as the Russian invasion has continued. Originally, we provided anti-armor and anti-aircraft munitions, including Javelin and Stinger systems. So here's another situation. Like, we have inflationary times and we're spending billions of dollars in a country that's not even a NATO ally. Okay? Like, what? You should be going, huh? I don't think I have a button on here that's like, say what? I need to maybe get one. We could do this. Let's see. I got that one. Listen, guys. At the end of the day, here's where it's at. Is our economy right now is running off the rail. Inflation is about 8%, a little over 8%. The president was just on 60 Minutes this past week. At the time of this recording, September 20th. The president was like, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, it only went up like 0.1% from last month. It's like, yeah, dude, but it's still 8%. Like, that's not good. I just got quoted a mortgage rate for like 9.275. Like, it's crazy. And they're trying to do all this. They're trying to raise the interest rates to slow down the economy so that we don't have runaway inflation. The problem is if the Fed raises the rates too fast, that's where that soft landing comes back in. If the Fed raises the rates too fast, then it crushes our economy and it throws us into a recession. And then they're going to be chasing their tails to try to lower rates. So this is like a never-ending battle. Don't think we ever like get to the end and we're like, okay, cool, it's finished. Like, this is like kind of the Fed's job is to print money when we need it and then pull money back when we don't need it. But it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Listen, I'm trying not to go off on the political rails here in the second episode of the season. I don't want you guys being like, all right, DJ, this is not sales training. I'm out. But it is the State of the Union, and I wanted to do an episode like this that allowed me to kind of just set the stage for you guys of where we're at in 2022 and going into 2023. Like, I think we're going to see a slowdown next year. There's too many big CEOs that I listen to and learn from that are seeing it. They're seeing that the money's running out. They're seeing that credit card balances are starting to rise, right? Like, they got like super low levels during the pandemic because everyone had extra cash and they could pay them off. But now they're starting to see those levels go back up. And so what's that mean for you? That means for you, like, you need a moat. You need to start building a moat around your book of business if you're a salesperson, or around your business if you're the entrepreneur or the owner. And you need to start looking at things from a different angle and start figuring out, do you provide something of value to your customers? Like do you provide something that they can't live without? Because there were so many small businesses that just got smacked in 07 and 08. Like, I saw it because that's when I started my business. Now, like, I was young, scrappy, and hungry, like they talk about in Hamilton. But, like, you know, I was young, scrappy, and hungry, and so, like, I didn't have a lot of overhead. Like, I started straight out of like 08, the crash. Like, I think the market was the worst in, like, August of 08. Like, I started September of 08. It was terrible. It's September 20th now, so, like, I'm going on my, 14th year of being an entrepreneur. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be here with you guys. Look, you also have to stay positive, and you also have to understand that you can outrun the storm, meaning that if you are proactive, if you start planning now, you can be in a place where you're prepared before this thing rolls over. Now, there's going to be what's Warren Buffett always say: when the tide goes out, you can see who's swimming naked. That's going to happen. Like, you're going to see this thing roll over. You're going to see recession hit the headlines. It's already hit the headlines once, and then like changes the definition of it. Like, it's not really. It's not really technically a recession. We'll change the definition real quick on you. It's been kind of fucking crazy, guys. I'm not going to lie. The past 2 years has been bananas. But listen, I think there's an upside to this, right? Like, this is the time that you fortify your business, you build a moat around it, you start to protect your assets being your people. If you don't have company culture, you need to start building that shit like yesterday. What are your core values? What is your mission statement? Are your people bought in? When's the last time you guys had a company picnic or a cookout at your house as the owner? Like, when's the last time you had your team over to your house? And this is normally where people are like, oh, God, I don't want my team over to my house. Well, then why do you have them on your team? That one's going to hurt somebody. But I'm just saying, like, now is the time to do the shit that you've been putting off the past 2 years. Because the past 2 years, unless you were like a restaurant or a retailer, if you were in the home service space or if you were selling professional services, you really didn't get affected by the pandemic. If anything, if you timed it properly, you probably got out of your lease so your cash flow increased. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to put you guys on game here. Like, it's been soft. It's been soft for the past 2 years. Now, everybody's like, oh, but it was a pandemic. It was a pandemic. Oh, I got somebody. Is this somebody calling in here? I don't know. I don't know if you guys hear that or not. I see the mic. No, I don't know where this is. Guys, I have a random phone ringing right now. Here we go. Let's send that to voicemail. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I don't know if you guys could hear that or not, but I'm like, oh, the feds are calling in. They're like, you're done. You're canceled, DJ. It's not even going to make it out of production. But listen, guys, I think again, just reiterating, trying to stay focused here. You guys really need to start building the systems around your business. Start building that moat around your business. And what I mean is, like, how are you going to fortify yourself? Like, what happens if unemployment goes to 8% next year and there's mass layoffs by the Fortune 500 companies or the Fortune 1000 companies, and your big commercial clients aren't buying from you anymore because they're having to tighten their belt? What's going to happen if residential spending or consumer spending slows down because people have ran through all of their pandemic money and their credit cards are tapped out, so they don't even have any fucking money to buy your shit that you're selling? Start having those conversations now, because it's not here yet, but it very easily could be here in less than 6 months. And so I hope that you take my warning and what do they say? Heed my warning. I hope that you take this and you really take a weekend, take a few hours, sit down with a pen and paper and get the fuck off of social media and off of your phone for 5 minutes and sit down with pen and paper and really figure out what's your strategy, what's your game plan, how are you going to make it through the Michael Jordan year, the 2023? How are you going to make it through the end of 2023? What's your game plan for the recession that is looming? Now, listen, you guys might be like, there ain't no recession coming, DJ. We're good. You're lost. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But if you go back and you watch videos from 2020 on my Facebook page, you can go look at them right now. I said exactly what's happening. I said that Russia's going to take Ukraine, and there's not a fucking thing we can do about it, and they're going to win, and they are winning. The other day, they're like, oh, Ukraine took back this region. And they took back some, like, land in the middle of the country. All of the ports are controlled by Russia. I think maybe one port they still are holding on to, Ukraine's still holding on to. But, like, Putin wants this area. Like, this is his like, last stand, if you will. And I also said in 2020 that we were going to fuck around and piss off China, and they were going to come take Taiwan and cut us off from our semiconductors. And now here we are. They're doing military operations 2 years later over Taiwan. And what's happening? Taiwan Semiconductor is building a multi-billion-dollar factory in Phoenix, Arizona, to try to offset the risk that's coming. So, by all means, I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that you guys can send me a message and be like, fuck you, DJ. It's June of 2023, and you were wrong. And I'll be like, great, I'm glad. I hope your business is growing leaps and bounds. However, it never hurts to have a war plan rolled up in the corner so that if you do have to go to war, you at least know what the fuck you're getting into. It's the State of the Union, baby. It's episode 2. Oh, man, I'm telling you, it's getting fun. This is going to be crazy, guys. You can't wait to hear this next episode. Episode 3 with my man Eric Trice. Don't miss it. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Ding and ding and ding and bang a bang a bang ding and ding. I did that. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Coach Carroll, Sales Factory. Hustle, it's worth it, baby.